Welcome to Who Are the Anunnaki? The True History of Planet Earth, Part 2. If you haven't seen Part 1, click here to see it. I recommend you view it first before watching this video, as it will all make more sense. The link to Part 1 is also in the description. Alright, let's continue with our story. As we previously learned, the Great Pyramids in Egypt were built by Thoth, who was the son of Enki. I consider Enki the chief being responsible for our existence as modern man. Anyway, the three pyramids were built in the same positions relative to each other as the three stars in the belt of Orion. This was done to balance the Earth's orbit and generate energy. However, we have no idea how the pyramids perform these functions. And we have no idea how the pyramids were even built. Thoth also built the Sphinx to celebrate the planet's entrance into the age of Leo, hence a human's head on a lion's body. This entrance also occurred in the year 10,800 BC, and the statue shows clear water damage, so this area was not always arid desert. Even though hundreds of Anunnaki stayed on Earth, the times Nibiru came close to Earth were significant due to the state visits by Anu and the consequent planning meetings. Between the 10,800 and 7,200 BC visits, the new humans made great strides in organizing into hunter-gatherer bands and formed early matriarchal societies that worshipped the goddess principle and Mother Nature. They devised rituals to appease her and express gratitude for her gifts, especially the birth of new life. These hunter-gatherers lived deep in communion with nature, preferring to settle in one place and worship their female deities. When Nibiru returned in 7200 BC, Anu realized that they had made a huge mistake by underestimating the power of the human mind and spirit, and thus decided that this new species had to be subjugated. So they used the power of our own minds against us. The god myth had already been started, and humans already perceive the Anunnaki as gods, calling them two names. One, the Elohim, meaning shining ones who descend from the sky, and two, Yahweh, meaning Lord of the earth. Anu reinforced the worship around himself, and told the human population that the Anunnaki were the true creators of the universe, and must be worshipped as gods. Given their great technology, spacecraft that seemed like the biblical chariots in the sky, and extremely long lifespan, humans readily began to worship these ETs as gods. As I go along in the story, you can see how cunning and manipulative the Anunnaki were to us. Back on Nibiru, life was intensely political, and marriages and alliances were made to establish and maintain power. For thousands of years, infighting among the members of the royal family and Nephilim involved vicious exchanges of nuclear bombs, particle beam weapons, and more. Hence the biblical accounts of God smiting whole populations on Earth that annoyed him were all just the power struggles of competing gods, or rather competing Anunnaki. The tablets continue to tell the story that because of the shortage of eligible Anunnaki females, young Anunnaki men began to interbreed with human females. The Bible outright says this in Genesis 6:2. The sons of the gods looked on the daughters of man and found them fair, and they took as wives whomever they chose. These offspring hybrids were born with great powers, such as telepathy. To administer the colonies during Nibiru's absence, these Anunnaki human hybrids were appointed leaders or rulers, like the kings and pharaohs. Today, they're the presidents of nations and large corporations. Using these humans as go-between priests allowed the Anunnaki to rule their human subjects remotely, which further distanced them from humans, thereby increasing the mystique that surrounded them. Back in the ancient Middle East, over countless generations, a band of people called the Hebrews left Egypt and wandered about on the Sinai Peninsula. Near Mount Sinai, they encountered an ET who made a deal with them. He promised them land of their own in exchange for their loyalty and obedience. Called Yahweh, he gave Moses, their leader, a set of rules to live by. The Hebrew people of the time thought that Moses was talking to the one and only creator of the universe, the real God, but he wasn't. This major fallacy has been passed down all the way to today, and many people wrongly believe Moses to have talked with God, and for God to have anointed him and his people as the chosen ones. However, it wasn't God that said it, but one of the Anunnaki. We can clearly see how this misconception has led to all kinds of wars and disagreements through history and right up until today. The truth is that we are all God's chosen people because we are all part of God. As I've said so often, we're consciousness masquerading as individuals, but at the most fundamental level, we are all connected and all one. After hundreds of thousands of years tampering with Earth, the Anunnaki eventually left the planet openly, but the Hebrews' oral history carried the legends of their Yahweh God-man down through the centuries, which became the God myth. This would later become the Old Testament's one God called Yahweh. What most people don't understand is that Yahweh is simply based on Anu, the Anunnaki king of Nibiru. Anu, if you remember, is the father of Enki and Enlil. All of this explains why the Old Testament is full of stories about a vengeful being called Yahweh, who caused disasters, destroyed cities, and committed genocide. Even atomic weapons were used, as in the incident at Sodom and Gomorrah. The cruelty was really perpetrated by the Anunnaki overlords to discipline the humans under their control. Of course, the Anunnaki had maintained strict secrecy about the true creator of our universe, the real God or creator, and even about our higher self and our true identity. This is why the master-slave God myth mentality still pervades the Western concept of a male God who gets angry when we unruly subjects don't obey his rules. As you can see, the events that occurred thousands of years ago still have a huge impact on life today. These events caused billions of humans to have erroneous belief systems involving God, the true nature of their souls, and the universe and the actual history of Earth. And I would include in that the Bible as well. Now, many of you who watch my videos are open-minded souls who have spiritual beliefs. But if you didn't previously know, now you see why the world is so backward and permeated with division and strife. The actions the Anunnaki took against Earth has completely changed the course of what it could have been. Some of it was for the good, as in helping to foster in modern man and give us technology. But a lot of it was bad, as in subjugating us and using us for their own pursuits. But in the end, we prevailed, and although the Anunnaki are no longer here openly, some believe they are still here secretly. In fact, those hybrid offspring I talked about became the rulers of the planet, the kings and pharaohs, and this is where bloodlines become so important to royalty. This continued all the way to the present age. But being we are now fourth density, this type of evilness will not be allowed to prevail, and we are seeing people no longer stand for it. It is for this reason that I and others like me have created content like this, to make the public aware and shed light on the evil that currently permeates our world. So don't worry about the Anunnaki trying to openly enslave us. That will never happen, as we are way more numerous in number and advanced now. Additionally, we've made pacts with other ET groups who would protect us. By the way, if you're wondering about my sources for this video and for part 1, I placed them in the description, as I mentioned in the first video, which you can see here, by the way. One of the best books on this topic is Slave Species of God by Michael Tellinger. It's a long and detailed book at 542 pages, but well worth the read. If you can borrow the book and don't have time to read it all, just look at chapter 16 called The Story of Humankind. It will fill in many of the details I couldn't add in this short video. Well, I hope you enjoyed this long but gripping tale of our true human history. If you did, please like and share this video. My next video will be out soon, so stay tuned. Anyway, if you haven't already subscribed, please do. And if you want to support my work and channel, you can do so at patreon.com/openyourreality. I very much appreciate any amount you wish to pledge. That's it for this one. I'll see all of you light workers in the next video creation.